After living in Southwest Florida for 9 years, my husband and I left in January 2023 to come to Pennsylvania and start our lives here. There were obviously several reasons we did this, but one of the main ones was hurricanes. We survived Hurricane Ian in 2022. I was 8 months pregnant with a 1-year-old toddler, and my husband was a firefighter paramedic for the city, having to work while we had no power for 10 days. The hospitals were shut down. I was literally weeks away from giving birth, and I didn't know if the hospital was going to be open. The hospital didn't have power or water for a few weeks, and it was super scary. I made a get ready with me when we moved, telling all the reasons why we decided to move to Pennsylvania from Florida. And one of the things I said was climate change, the storms are getting more frequent and they're getting stronger and they're going to be more devastating. Not even 2 years later. And we've already had Hurricane Helene. Now Hurricane Milton is already a Category 4. And there's also one forming in the ocean behind Milton. People literally were in my comment section like making fun of me, like climate change isn't a thing, or you're still gonna get weather events in Pennsylvania. We're not getting this type of a weather event in Pennsylvania, I'll tell you that right now. We might get some snow, and the snow is not gonna flood our house, take out our power, completely devastate our area like hurricanes do. Now, I'm not an idiot. I know not everyone can leave, not everyone can move, not everyone has the privilege of selling their house and getting the fuck out of Florida. And I was in a evacuation zone for Hurricane Ian, but I was 8 months pregnant, and people don't realize that if you decide to leave, you might get stuck on the highways because everyone else is evacuating. You might run out of gas. Gas is really hard to come by. The lines are a mile long or longer to get gas, or gas stations literally ran out of gas at some point. So we made the decision to stay in 2022, and we were fine, and we had no power or water for a while, but our house is basically fine, just some outer damage. So we made it, but people can't leave for a variety of reasons. But what I'm saying is, what do people plan to do after this? Because for us, this really played into our decision of getting out of Florida. I mean, it wasn't easy for us. I mean, it wasn't like, oh yeah, let's just pick up everything and leave. I was literally like 2 months postpartum. We had to get our house ready. We had to sell our house, pack up all of our stuff, find a house up here. It was a big undertaking, but now seeing this just a year later, I'm so glad that we decided to do that. And I think it's so much different when you have kids. I also went through Hurricane Irma in 2017, I think that was. And I didn't have kids yet. And we were like, no big deal. Hurricane, we'll be fine. We wrote it out. I think we didn't have power for like a day or two. When you have children and little children, everything changes. Like, I wouldn't wish what I went through at 8 months pregnant with Hurricane Ian, with no power, no water, and my 1-year-old at the time had an ear infection and wouldn't sleep. It was hell. And I was like thinking at the time, thank God I didn't have any breast milk in the freezer, because I had just stopped breastfeeding right before I got pregnant with my second. And like, I don't know what I would have done. But anyway, it's scary. Like, even if you're thinking you can keep yourself safe and your significant other, when it comes to having kids, it's so much scarier. And we just made the decision, like, I don't want to ever have to prepare for hurricane season ever again. Not to mention, I feel like it's throwing money away to buy property here sometimes and continue to put it at risk. I guess if you have money to rebuild your house every time, maybe it's not that big deal, but we definitely don't have that. So I would much rather be paying into a mortgage up here where we're getting equity for what we're doing. And I have so many friends still in Florida, and I worry about them, and I wish everyone could kind of like make whatever decisions right for them. But just knowing like the anxiety that I would be feeling every single time one of these comes, and just knowing that they're going to get more frequent and stronger every year, it's scary. And I really wonder what Florida and every other state that's at risk, what their plan is for going forward. Like, what is the solution to this? Because I know it's like impossible to get everyone to leave because that's just not feasible for everybody. So I don't know. What would you do?